it's going to be another lazy weekend. I've not really got much to do. It's horrible weather out there, it's raining. So at least it's not hot, but I still haven't got much to do. I got myself, fucking hell, new bonnet. Still haven't checked it, so assuming it's the right colour. That's a yes. So we'll get rid of the one that's on it at the moment. And we'll swap over. Oh, and another Patreon member. I think his first name is Vlad. It could be his second name. So thank you very much. Okay, I've disconnected the two straps. That was already disconnected from a previous video. I'm interested to see whether or not this one actually comes with the smart badging already on it. Oh, it certainly does. In fact, it even comes with a built-in window. So obviously that's how they come from the factory. They have a little line-up jig, and that will stick on, and you take it off. Didn't really want the badge on it, to be honest. You have to. They don't come with the straps, which is a bit of a pain. So I'll have to get them from the old one. There's the squirters already fitted and all the pipe work for the squirters. Should be careful about not damaging the corners. I've got to reattach the squirter. It actually comes with that bit as well. Yeah, it lines up a little bit better than the old one. This one's now covered in fingerprints. But importantly, it doesn't have big gouges in it. I'll take the little window off. I'm tempted to actually take that badge off totally at some point. Right, it's some days later. I didn't really do much after the last video. I have just emailed Smart about replacement headlights. I've been trying to code the LED ones. For some reason on the facelift version, DDT Thrall will not connect to the car. It won't find the EMM Edison controller, so I can't actually do that. And I did try with Vediamo, but if you've ever tried using Vediamo, what a piece of shit that is. Yeah, so I contacted Smart because my idea was I was going to ask for headlights for this car, not the standard type that came off it originally. And then when I was told that you couldn't get them, you can get one side but not the other side, I was going to then ask for a contact address for Smart, and I was going to offer to sue them because legally they've got to be able to supply parts. Now imagine if you're running the company and you had to repair a car, you can't have it sitting there indefinitely. It's just not allowed. So I contacted them and they said, yeah, don't worry, we can get those in a week. Sweet. So hopefully by next weekend I'll be able to get them. But Annoyingly, I'm actually very, very busy next weekend. I've got to go up to Norfolk to see some famous DJ. I've seen, not the sort of shit I really want to listen to, but it was booked for me, so can't really say anything. So, in the meantime, we got some stuff. LanoGuard. I can assure you, if you do a search for LanoGuard and you're on Facebook, every third advert will be LanoGuard. So, only look if you're interested. LanoGuard, it is anti-rust protection thingy. It's made of lanolin, which is a wax secreted by sheep, which is why they are waterproof, can float and can fly when it's raining. And it makes, they take the wax out of the wool and you spray it on your car. Now this is some magic kit with a super spray device and this thing here, so you can just take that underneath the car, take this bit underneath the car and do what you want to do. This is for the internal parts of the like frame rails and stuff. You want to go in there and spray it and pull it out. Now I've heard it smells like sheep, a single sheep. Fucking hell. It smells like all the sheep, multiple sheeps. And when you spray this shit on, make sure that you wear breathing protection because that absolutely stinks. And we've got some lanolin grease as well, which is much thicker. It's designed for all the nuts and bolts and stuff that you get that normally go and just turn to dust. So we'll be firing that olive over the bottom of this car. This one's not too bad at the moment, so we might as well keep it not too bad. Secondly, it's not something I actually need at the moment, but I've seen them mentioned on Facebook and I thought I'd get them because I know it'll happen at some point in a couple of years. I think I'll be doing some sort of project and I think, oh, actually I could do that, and then I'll totally forget who I got them from and then they won't be available. I know he only made 100 sets of these, so what we got now, these are for 450 and the Roadster. That's a rear bearing. Nothing special about that, but they've been created with 5-stud patterns, which is 5x112. So exactly the same as what you'd get in a standard Mercedes. So then you'd have to mess around with the 3 to 5 stud converters. So that's quite nice. That's the rear ones. And same with the front. We've got the it comes with the proper ABS ring, reluctor ring, and again 5 studs. Now these were bought from the guy who had them made, Ben, who actually lives, I think it's Israel, something like that. Somewhere that's having political issues, I'm sure. But I'll put some sort of link or something in the video description because I'm sure at some point somebody's going to want them. They weren't super expensive. I mean, obviously, you know, aftermarket ones, those you can get for like 50, 60 quid, but they're going to be shit quality. I'm sure these are going to be really good quality. And then you're not limited to smart wheels. You can just stick your any number of Mercedes alloy wheels on there, and if the offset's not right, you just throw in a nice cheap spacer in there. But yeah, they do look really nice. Just got to work out what to use them. You could use I believe you can use the rear ones on the 451, but the front ones won't fit, so there's not really much point. Yeah, all you, I know what you roadster owners are like, you love all this sort of shit, so you know, if you want 5 stud alloy wheels without pissing around with 3 to 5 stud adapters, then contact Ben. I'll stick his Facebook link or something or other on there. I don't know if he's got a website. If he's got a website, and I'll use that. I'll let him know. But I said I'd let people know about them, because obviously not everyone's on Facebook. You know, hopefully he'll have an email address as well. In fact, I'm sure he has. Because I sent the money for it. So they're going to go into storage and will slowly reappear at some particular point in the future when I do a roadster. I fucking hate roadsters. No, to be fair, they look awesome and they drive like nothing else. But working on the fucking, it's just bollocks. Everything's all tightly packed together, and you've got to be upside down, inside out for half the shit, and you know, you spend ages and ages fixing something, and then something else will fail. They're just not really my level of reliable. But I will have to get one at some point, because the girlfriend's never driven one, and she's a bit of a car person, and she really wants to go one, so I'll have to get one at some point and have a play. Yeah, another reason that I was not going to bother chasing up with these LED headlights, because look at this little arsehole in here. Come on, focus. Fucking living inside my headlight, what a knob. You know he's going to create loads of webs in there. Absolute arsehole. What a lot of fucking around. I swear this bench was in the Garden of Eden. It's been repainted about 3 million times. And I've had to weld this little bit back on. Rusty as fuck. There's a split there. Not bad for a second time welding. I'll throw a little bit of rust, anti-rust up on it, and that'll convert it to iron, and then get the girlfriend to paint it tomorrow. Here's another thing that I've been doing. This is the Milwaukee tyre inflator. I've got this one, which is the M12. I've also got the larger M18 version. So I bought this one because it was the only one they did, and literally within 2 weeks of me buying this one, they released the M18 version. So I got it anyway. Is this small enough to leave in your car? But the one thing I don't like about these, I mean, they're nice and quiet, they do it really quickly. If you see the Project Farm one, you see it does really well. But what I don't like, it comes with the all your inflators and for your, I think it's an adapter for something or other, and that's for sticking down the end of your penis, I think, to inflate your ball bag. But it's this. That screws, focus, that screws straight onto the stem, the valve stem, but that bit in the middle there doesn't actually move. So as you screw it on, it pushes the valve stem in. So there's a good 5 or 6 seconds when you're taking it off where you can hear air coming out. Well, that's no fucking good, is it? Yeah, you're losing half PSI, taking it off again. So what I did is over on my my air reel over there, I've got a proper proddy on, proddy off one, like this. Now that literally just pushes on, seals up. And I thought, yeah, why don't I just have something like that? So I cut the pipe off it, and you got one of the adapters, and that screws on there like that, like so. And now you literally just set the pressure you want, and you push that on, you press start, and then literally as soon as it's finished, you hold it there for a bit, and it thinks about it and decides yes, that's the pressure it wants, and then you pull it off, and that's it. And there's no air escaped. I don't know why it hasn't got that as standard. The part that was left over, this from what I can remember, that was, yeah, this came out the back of that. I think it was a bit longer than that. And then you connect that to your compressor, and as you do it, it pumps your tyres up. But that's a bit of a two-handed thing as well. It does have a feet clamp here, a little thing that pops out, tells you what pressure you're at. Yeah, not as good as something digital, but Spurtar. Isn't that the black guy from Lethal Weapon? Or is it the porn version of Lethal Weapon? Don't know. Anyway, that looks, I'm going to be careful walking around with that, because that looks like one of those dead man handle things. Quite look smart about these. I think it's about the same size, but they're the ones that should go on the little panels just in front of there. And I thought, yeah, they're not going to be expensive. They want like about £15 each. Nah, forget that. Stick those up your arse. Yeah, exactly like that. But now I've just found out that they're actually slightly larger on the back of the car. So if you want to go larger, there you go. Get the ones that go on the back of the car instead of the ones that go on the mirror triangles. Yeah, so we've got another Patreon member, Bruno. So like 3 in about 3 weeks. Who'd have thought it? Yeah, we've got this battery on charge, but I probably will just get a decent replacement, because we know how bad the batteries are on those. Somebody who does YouTube quite regularly told me that having people commenting really helps out the video. So dogs are shit, cats are better, the iPhone pisses all over Androids. That'll probably help. This car's not long till we're finished with this one. I'm just trying. I've got a big list of possible projects. I've just got to make a bit of room. We've got that little EV there. We've got electric 4.4 and manual non-turbo 451. They'll have to go. Make a bit of room. But yeah, so I've got about 12 ideas written down for things I can do for projects. Some are fairly simple, some are probably impossible. But you know, give me your ideas. Ideally, I'd rather be working on a 451. The parts are readily available on eBay and stuff like that. Generally, there's always a lot of 451s being broken for parts. I don't really want to work on another 453, and the 450, they're just not reliable enough. They're just too much trouble. Eventually I will do a Roadster, just not at the moment. I don't really want that aggro in my life. I do need a driver's airbag, steering wheel. I don't mind driving around with no knee airbag, that's fine, done that plenty. I'm sure my knees will survive. I mean, look at it. Let's stick my legs in the first place. Absolutely. The other thing I really would like to get is the antenna surround for the Roadster. So obviously they're now out of stock, and piss takers are now trying to sell them like brand new ones for like 45 quid when it was only a £6 or £7 part brand new. I did have one, can't find it. It was second-hand, no crust anyway. Ideally I'd like to get a new one, a decent quality one, so I can get it copied, and then I can sell them for much cheaper, and they'll be a decent quality as well. There's always something to do. So now we'll, to be honest, I'm procrastinating now. I don't want to start doing this Lanagard stuff because it absolutely stinks. But I will have to, I suppose. Come on, let's go and do it. Let's get it on. Okay, in an attempt to try and stay away from the horrendous sheep orgy smell, I think I'm going to do this all outside. I've changed into a different top because I don't really want to get the sheep smell all over me. Although it's underneath the car, so it doesn't really matter if it rains out here. I don't really want to be out here when it's raining. It comes in handy little 2 litre bottles of sheep death smelling liquid. Is this one opened, or is this not one opened? No, it's not one opened. Yeah, that's easier. With the twisty. This tube has actually got a little E-clip on it to stop that from pulling out. That's a nice little design. Still far too long though. Let's adjust it down a little bit. Alright, that's the I've got a feeling that does something else, maybe with the bigger bottles, but gives you something to hang on to. There's the piss coming out of the thing. I'm not sucking this through. Yeah, good start. Okay, if you put your finger over the end, when you let go, it stops the air being drawn back in and actually sucks the liquid out. Ugh, Christ. If you have problems getting it through, first time I tried it, it got to about there and then wouldn't do it. So you have to do is squeeze it, put your finger over the end and let go. And that stops the air being pulled in through there and actually pulls it back through. After a while, it's not too bad. It smells like Jay's fluid. Jay's fluid poured on a sheep. I was going to cover my nose and mouth with something and put some Albasol on it. Let's see how it goes. Out here it actually smells like a cleaner has come along and cleaned up after a sheep orgy. Spray everything, but there are certain things that are going to rust, like the drive shaft ends. Builds up a little bit as well. But anything that can rust will rust. So just spray it as best you can. All the stuff you know is going to get wet. It doesn't seem to drip very much either, which is quite good. It's actually quite thick. Obviously do your springs. Try and keep it off your brake pads and stuff like that. I'll tell you what it reminds me of. Knit solution, but not as strong. Can't really get so much with the underneath the Smart because the panel's covering everything. Should make sure I get the springs. randomly spraying everything. Can't see what I'm spraying at. It doesn't hurt plastics, so it doesn't really matter. If you can talk your local garage into letting you put your car up on a ramp, that'd be really, really easy. Right, how's that work? Oh, hang on. Worked out already. That, you can screw the top of that. Whip yourself in the face with it. And that's for getting into all your box sections and stuff like that. A good idea to do the inside of the support tubes for the suspension. Unless I actually lift the car up, I'm not really going to get much further than that. It's got the same viscosity as warm maple syrup or something. So it doesn't taste like it. I've got this shit all over my fucking self. Yeah, I've got to go wash my hands. Although, if that's a wax, I'm going to need soap. Scratchy green soap. You can't see a bloody thing, can you? Aziz, lights. Got flashy lights. It's not liking that at all, is it? Okay, maybe not lights. My hands smell like scratchy green now instead of sheep orgy. Right, well that's that done until I can at least get the car up on a rack somewhere. So I can't really be bothered to jack the car up. I mean, you got to remember the underside of the Smart is majority plastic panels, so you're not really see very much. So if you've ever owned an old Smart, then generally it's the rear brake hubs, the Dion suspension tube, and like the bolts for the cross frame that runs across the back. Sometimes the front suspension will rust a little bit. Mainly it's on the older cars, like especially with the 450s. Ideally, get your rear wheel arches out. If you haven't found a big rust hole, you're lucky. Definitely put that Lanerguard stuff inside there, replace your arch liners. But generally, the Smarts don't suffer that badly. The Roadster seems to suffer a little bit worse because it's a lot lower down. But again, it's mainly the engine cradle that suffers. So with this stuff, it says put it straight on, but I would recommend at least wiping it down. At least wipe it down, or wire brush it down just to clear any of the loose rust. Once you don't, just spray it on. It should last you a couple of years, but keep an eye on it. Chances are you're going to miss a few parts when you spray it on, so just keep an eye on areas that will start rusting again and reapply. Obviously this is the first time we used it. It's been on about 5 minutes and no rust has appeared, so it's brilliant. Best product ever. There are people who've been using this stuff for years on like Land Rovers and stuff that actually go like mud plug-in or whatever they call it, and they seem to think it's all right. So if you want to get some of this stinky stuff, I'll put an affiliate link in the description. I'm sure I won't actually make anything out of it, but if anyone's going to make out of it, I might as well. Now what to do? Tidy up, I think. Right, well, since we're here, there's obviously something missing from the front of the car. Now that was damaged in the crash and or lost. It's definitely not there. Ignore the flashing lights for a moment, it will sort itself out. So we need to make a number plate. Now people have said that I bought this only because it was black and orange. For some reason they seem to think I like black and orange, but it's not just because of that. I also bought it because, I don't know, it's called something very similar to my name, and it was very, very cheap. So I didn't have a laptop that had any space in it, so I think this cost me like 50 quid or something. I had to build it myself, but it's only like, connecting the batteries up and stuff like that, so it wasn't hard. What is it? 21. CPV. I'm allowed to print number plates because I'm special and you're not. Legally, you can't just print your own number plates. Although, if you really wanted to, it's very simple. It's a standard laser printer. If you normally, to get hold of the media that goes through it, you have to have an account, but I'm sure there are places you can get it from. This spacing software, again, it's free, but you need an account. You need an account with the government to be able to print number plates. But the font is called Charles Wright, and so you could, I have quite easily made number plates in Photoshop when I had issues with this bit of software. Let's see if it actually works. What we do, we'll stick 2 in. Normally something goes wrong. I think I've printed about 3 number plates and I've used about 40 of those bits of media. They're all coming out sideways and upside down, and they should actually come out back to front. A print pair, you have to put your dealer name, and that's the thing, you have to have a government license to print number plates. It only costs 50 quid forever, but then they do stick your name and contact details on the DVLA website, and then you just get nonsense phone calls all the time. And the problem is that if you do sell number plates, you now can't do it online because they've made up some new rule, and yeah, so you can't send them out. Just a lot of hassle. So I don't really bother. I just make them myself, and you have to keep a record of all of the number plates you make for other people, and no one's got time for that. So you have to put the letters of the number plate, your dealer name, your postcode for where you registered. All right, let's see if this goes hideously wrong, which it normally does. Whilst it's doing that, because there are 2 different types of number plate that you can do, where you either print onto the reflective part, or you print onto a piece of media and then you stick that onto the reflective part. Now, why have I printed both plates? I didn't need to print both plates. Oh, sorry, no. Back one's fine. Yeah, my one prints on clear media, and these are the reflective. And all you do is, these are actually sticky back. So you peel off the protective layer and that's sticky. Which didn't push the media in far enough. That's a fairly easy one to sort out. I've had much worse problems. Oh no, it's back to front. No, it's supposed to be back to front. Right, now we've got those, we can move all this nonsense. It's there, make sure there's no dust or debris. Get one of these. This is the tricky part, getting the, there we go. Now what you need to do is you pull it back a little way. Make sure everything is pushed right to the corner. And that way, the whole thing is lined up as you'd hope. Now you offer it up to this roller, and you roll it as you pull out the tape. That's less than ideal. Back through the other way. Okay, now we just need to remove the protective film. It does help that I've got fingernails. There you go. Lovely. It's got the Evolution Limited name on it as well. Into the rotary squasher. Now you can't just hold one end and pull it through, because what happens is it's not a 1-to-1 ratio of pull. So because it's doubling back on itself, eventually, unless you pull this film away as you're running it through, it gets caught in the roller. So just keep an eye on the side. last minute. Do need a little bit of a better setup for this. I'm doing it so rarely that it would be a massive waste of space for me. Currently, it normally just sits over there and used like a nice little shelf. Anyway, sweet little set. I might stamp up the extra cash for the software that does all the little badges on the end. I quite like to have the little green badge. I'm always a bit worried about those anti-EV people, the ice holes as I call them. Some people just see a electric car and then treat you like you've just voted in for Hitler or something. Because just because like we drive EVs doesn't mean we believe that climate change is real or all that sort of crap. Because personally, I'm not really bothered. But driving an EV, for me, it works. I've got charging at work, I've got charging at home, I've got plenty of room to put cars around and put them on charge. I come home, I put it on charge, go to sleep, wake up, it's fully charged, go to work, put it on charge, top up each time. I've got enough energy, electricity in the battery to get to work and back if I can't get into a charger at work or the chargers aren't working at work. Even with the increase in electricity cost, it's still cheaper than running normal fuel. They're fun to drive, fairly quiet. So I drive an electric vehicle because it suits me. Now, it might not suit you, but just because it doesn't suit you doesn't mean it doesn't suit everyone else. So, you aren't everyone. And it also helps that I've got solar panels, plenty of. But you didn't know I was that tall. And despite not actually owning a Tesla car because they're too expensive, I've got the Tesla Powerwall, which I think the whole lot cost me about 17 grand for the panels and for that. And from about March, middle of March to about middle of September, I actually don't pay for any electricity at all. It just happens that the solar panels are facing exact south. In the winter, the shadow is cast by the house, but in the summer it's fine. I've got one of the old meters with a disc, and pretty much from March to September, it's spinning backwards. Look at fitting one of these, I suppose. Now, somewhere I'm bound to have one of those surrounds that clips on. Have a little look around. I found the one that came off the old car, but it's snapped in the corner, so I'm going to use that. Or is it, am I making that up? Yeah, that's snapped. Yeah, so I'm not going to bother using that. I'll just bin it and buy a replacement. And generally, I would use like the decent VHB tape, throw a few lines on it, stick it on. It's normally what I prefer to do with cars, although saying that one's not got one on it. No. I'm proving myself to be a fucking liar in there, aren't I? So that's got surround. Oh, there you go. That one's stuck on. That one's stuck on. And that's fine, because normally you can stick it on because it's all nice and smooth, but that is just not smooth. That is unacceptable. But at least they give you little divots where you're supposed to screw through, and they do actually match up with the they actually match up. Oh, you can see where the screw was originally, and that was a worth one as well. So it's not worth a lot when it's broken, but I'll order a new surround. Jesus, fucking flashing. All this works differently. God. No, it's a worth one. Because it's got worth for it now. There's really not any difference apart from this one. It's slightly more orangey yellow. And it's got my my company name on it. Another spare number plate. When I say another spare, I mean to go with all of these ones. I've got fucking loads of them. Obviously it's not real. So whenever I sell a car, I always change number plate because a nice fresh number plate always sets it off quite nicely. It gives it a little cleaner look. Alright, so I'm gonna order a new surround, I suppose. And one of the other laws for doing number plates is you're supposed to keep a record of all the sales. I'm going to create a little book. Even though I've sold them to myself, you've still got to keep records. Now, unsurprisingly, I've got a book binding machine. Doesn't sound happy doing that many pages at a time, though. Right, now what colour should we do the front page and the back page? And by that, what I mean is orange. How hard can it possibly be? Yeah, I'll leave that. Yeah. I mean, needless to say, when I buy stuff like that, I throw away the instruction manual and then don't use it for a year. So when I do eventually find time to get around to using it, I ain't the faintest idea what does what. Now I need a pen. There's nothing in my pen holder up there. There you go. Power Tools GB. Not sponsored, please sponsor me. And all I've got to do is work out what number plates I've made for what cars, and then tick to say that I've seen the details, which obviously I have because they're mine. It doesn't even actually, oh no, it does ask you for numbers. That's right, we can find that. Now, if you know me, you know that I'm not particularly sociable. So bearing that in mind, how the fuck did this happen? Actually, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, there were people, but they stayed away, thankfully, except for all the weird ones that were talking at me. Go away. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for this one. Don't bother liking, but do subscribe. Yeah, watch it a few times. Stick in the background. You know, turn the sound off. Watch it. I need the view hours because currently I'm a good couple of thousand hours short of it, like monetizing any of this shit. Unless I make money out of it, I don't really want to do it. I'm a bit of a fucking miser when it comes to money. Yeah, so stick on repeat. Watch it again. Stick on a few monitors. Run VPNs. Just watch it a load of times. I'm on Patreon. If you want to support me on there, it's cheap as shit. Just do it. So yeah, until 2 weeks or whenever I remember to make the new one live, I suppose. So bye.